Welcome to Live Unashamed, where we pause the show and invite members of our team to talk vulnerably about their own recovery, things they're learning, the resources that are actually working, and what it truly means to live unashamed.
I miss Destiny's Child.
Yeah?
I miss Destiny's Child.
What do you miss about Destiny's Child?
I don't know. They just had it. Do you remember the music video with all the rooms changing colors?
Sure don't.
Nope. I remember Destiny's Child. I don't remember the room.
I learned like this year that Beyonce was part of that band.
You just learned that.
I just learned.
So you
that
were this many years old when you found out?
Well, I mean, maybe it was last year. Maybe when I was 48. Because now I'm 49.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and also I missed the whole boy band thing.
Like Boyz II Men.
Yeah, Frosted Tips. That was it's coming back now. Did you know that? All the high school kids, they're like Frosted Tips and Puka Shells. And I'm like, it does rotate every.
Dude, I hated getting my tips frosted, sitting in the stupid cap with the hair being pulled through and it hurt.
Wow.
You're on.
Yeah,
all the time, man.
Look, here's the deal. Digital media, right? It's changed. That's why I was having the nostalgia of the old stuff. CDs, that was cool.
Yeah.
CDs were cool. The burn mix,
Oh, yeah.
All that.
Yeah.
Hey, Jaron, I made you a mixtape, right? Like, that was the thing,
That was great, right?
That was the thing. Yeah, look.
No, but I actually did do that. I made one for my wife when we were dating. I made several.
And calling into the radio stations be like, I want to dedicate this
I
song.
stole songs off Napster. You're not the
I
only
totally
one who's
remember
cool
Napster,
here.
dude.
Well, I was married by the time Napster came out, man.
James had a 401k by the time Napster came out.
Totally. I probably did.
Look. Navigating media.
Yes.
If I could draw an analogy, which I like to do.
Yes, you do.
That is like taking a small puppy and sending him through the dead zone in World War I, which is the space between the two trenches where everyone has machine guns facing each other, and saying, "Good luck, puppy. Frolic.
Have
Be
a good
free.
time." Yeah. And
Go
don't
catch
step on
this
a
ball."
mine. Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I think this is such a funny topic with you guys because neither one of you guys are on like social media.
Of course I'm not. Chris, you blow my mind.
Yeah.
You are the only man, to quote Andy Mineo when he's talking to the devil and he says, "I believe you made the Explorer page on Instagram." Like that is like the devil who made that, right?
Yeah.
And because Andy's open about his, struggles with porn and stuff, and he's probably going to come on the show because I hear a big fan of us.
Yeah.
I hear.
That's rumor has it.
Yeah. Just when me and Lecrae were talking one day, it was the thing.
Yeah.
But we hang out,
Hashtag Lecrae.
Hashtag please Lecrae. So, Chris, you are on social media all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't tell me you are not seeing porn all the time. Porn by the definition of the old Supreme Court thing when they said define it, and the justice said, I can't give you a definition for it, but when I know what it is when I see it.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting the ads on your Instagram of whatever model.
I'll see inappropriate stuff on there.
All the time.
Yeah. And so what I do is I go to the next.
Well, yeah, and thank you.
Right?
I get it.
Because I know where I'm at.
I get you in your recovery. There are things I don't understand about Chris Bennett. One, how he is who he is in recovery, Hook of Hope, and is on social media all the time. Only man I know who does that. Right. Number two, how the guy sleeps 2 hours a night.
I was going to go there. If you didn't bring it up, I was going to bring that up.
There's a lot of things about you I'm not understanding.
Right.
But for the rest of us, James is just old. That's my claim to fame as a millennial, that I've never had a Facebook page. Like I'm like that's my like if I want to wear a badge like James drives a Subaru.
Well, I do want to say
like that's my badge. I'm like I'm a millennial who never had a Facebook page. That's too cool.
I actually didn't get Facebook until I had at least over a year of sobriety when I jumped on, which I'm glad I didn't, or I'm glad I didn't have it in the middle of my addiction, so I think I would have used that like crazy.
I'm surprised I didn't, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I wasn't like, sure, I'm just getting on Instagram, because you can't track anything on there. You can't. Yeah. I mean, there's all the, but look, you ignore all the stuff. There's all the documentaries. Social Dilemma, where they have the guys on there who started Snapchat, and they're like, oh, we knew 100% what we were doing. Yeah. And did it. And then we all were like, this is pretty unethical, so like some of us had to leave. I mean, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, and there are certain social media aspects that I don't get on, like Snapchat, because it is there are actual pornographic images that they place in there that you have no control of it showing up.
But again, Snapchat is one of the most popular things for kids. It was made for sexting.
Right.
I remember I was having this conversation with a kid.
The pictures
She's like, no, why not? It's just fun. I'm like, wait a minute. I can only put someone's number in here or contact if I already know them. So like they would have had to have given it to me. Like I can't just scroll and find my friend James. I have to like have known them. And whatever image they put on it disappears after it's there.
Once you
and
viewed
if you
gone.
screenshot it, it notifies me that you screenshotted it. And she's like, oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that's just Kayla's beautiful heart, right? But I navigating
navigating it. So I mean, I had Facebook, I had Instagram back in 2000.
Yeah. When that was the thing.
Yeah, 10, 11.
There wasn't all these other. There wasn't TikTok. There wasn't.
Yeah. So I think it was just Facebook and Instagram. Maybe a couple others that have died now.
MySpace.
I didn't have a MySpace, but like I haven't posted on Instagram since like 2013. Like, so part of my navigating the media was like, oh, I had to get off of those things. And so now, like, I look at Facebook once a year on my birthday to say thank you to the people that are wishing me a happy birthday.
So you don't look like a tool?
Yeah, right. So I hop on there, say thank you, and hop back off. So once a year I'm doing that. And then up until like a month ago, I never checked. I had deleted it, Instagram and everything, but now I've hopped back on in order, for the business and stuff.
For our social media stuff that we're doing for the practice,
Yeah, for the for Accepted. So I've started to hop back on solely for that purpose. But for me, that was part of my navigating media. Was like, I knew that those things weren't helpful for me because I was using both of them to find, the problem. And then
it's the most undiagnosed behavior addiction out there, period, by a mile.
Oh,
totally.
Because at least people admit porn is addicting, and we're getting like with women too. We're like, no, women look at porn too, and that's we've had some on the show.
My phone was my substitute addiction when I wasn't looking at porn. Like when I
entered recovery, you talked about it with me.
Oh yeah,
you're like, oh, I could tell if I start gaming on my phone a ton, like porn's waiting for me around the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yep.
Like that was my replacement for the 2.5 years when I started my recovery, and I was like, great, I'm free of porn for 2.5 years. Guess what I was doing for that 2.5 years? I was gaming a ton.
Yeah.
And then when I delete the game, then I'd get on and I'd read the news like crazy.
Yeah, get sucked into that.
Yeah, so I could do to check out.
I think this is simple. Okay, we talk all the time in therapy land. Is sex good or bad? It's neither. Here's healthy. You can go to way too much, all of us with our sexual addictions, or you can go to way too little. So when I meet someone who has a sexless marriage, I'm like, God ain't with you in that one, right? Workaholism, right? Clear over here, clear over there, right? Drinking alcohol, right? I know as a Latter-day Saint, I'm out on the alcohol. That's a thing for us and get that. And if I were to sit with a Christian person that's like, whatever, I have a glass of wine once a week at a dinner I have, I would totally say you are in the realm of healthy within your values. That completely makes sense to me. Totally. And then you have alcoholics, right? And then you have people who are avoiding all this stuff all the time. And so it's about getting into the healthy. So is there a healthy window in which people use social media? Of course there is, and
I exercise.
and
I do that.
Right.
Because I put limits
think
on
you're
it.
a little this side.
You might be on the little excessive.
I think you're a
at
little
times.
I think you guys are nuts. I put a limit on it, 30 minutes a day for all my social media.
Well, when's the last time you stuck to that limit on it at the end of the day?
Almost every day.
Okay.
Because it shuts you off.
Because it shuts me off.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And this goes black. I can show you my screen right now.
This is a
and
good, this is a good
it goes
example of
black.
accountability.
Yeah, love that. Yeah.
Well, and good brotherhood that we would
Right.
ask you that.
But that's
I'm
why
going
I
to give
was
us
like-
credit for actually asking
Oh,
you.
100%. You guys,
when's
I
the-
give you credit for that.
When's the
Yeah.
last time you like overrode it and be like, nah, I'm going to spend 2 hours on this?
On weekends.
Okay.
That's real.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is, it's like everything else. There's a healthy window. Here's the BS I'm not on. When people are like, I don't see why it's that bad, and I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
'Cause you're
do.
consuming- I
Don't tell
guarantee
me
they're
that.
consuming the hell out of it.
Well, and I'll tell you the big one that no one wants to talk about: freaking Netflix and Disney Plus and all these services.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh.
We got Paramount
It's not
Plus
just
because
social
we're getting
media,
into
it's
Survivor.
digital media.
We got Paramount Plus because we're getting into Survivor. Flip on there and they're like, oh, and Showtime and this and that. You are 2 seconds away from. You know what happened when I was a kid, or you were a kid, and someone's like, oh, we were at a hotel that had HBO and you had to wait till 2 a.m. and no one was looking, or the
No,
channel between the blurred lines
No,
or
it
whatever.
wasn't 2 a.m.
Go.
You only had to wait till like 11:30 midnight.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
whatever. That's the whole thing, or whatever. You realize that my kid, with no limits, you can
Right.
put on the parental control thing, and the parental controls are BS on all this crap. My kid can get on Netflix and be watching not rated NC-17 TVMA in 2 seconds, and we all think that's
Yeah.
normal now. We're like, hey, Jared, did you see that show? Chris, did you see that show? Oh yeah, it's TVMA, but it's awesome. I'm like, what? My freaking mom's watching some show, and I'm like, Mom, there's like full-blown sex scenes in there, and she's like, I know, but we just skip it, and it's good. And I'm like, what happened in the last 30 years? It's BS.
Well, if it's TVMA, it's not rated R. So, like in the LDS religion, they talk
Shoot.
about
It's
rated
worse,
R,
right?
But a TVMA is totally worse. But for me,
But-
like if I look at that stuff, I go as soon as I see this is a show I want to watch. I look up IMDb.
Yes.
For me, this is what I do.
Yes.
I look
This
up
is how you
IMDb.
navigate that.
If there
Yes,
is
how you
any
navigate
nudity,
it, you look it up.
Same.
is there any nudity in it? Not for me.
Right.
I've waited 46 years to see it this long, or I've waited 46 years to see it. I don't need to see it, so
Yeah, I don't need that one
I don't.
movie. I don't
Yeah,
need that.
I, there's plenty of other movies that are
But
good.
to me, the idea that like, well, it's not that bad. Wake up. Someone can send me a nasty email
Well,
if
I
they
don't.
want.
I don't know that. Frankly, I don't know that any of our listeners are saying that.
I think people are, particularly the young ones.
Okay.
And I think people who are social media heavy go, oh no, there's ways you just it's addiction. There's a bunch of stuff there. It's just because it's not hardcore porn or like there's so much damage happening around that sexually. I'll speak to the women. So all the women who want to get mad at me, I think women are way more addicted to social media than men. Send me an email and tell me I'm wrong and get mad at me about it. I think there's some statistics about women being on social media and the comparison game. Shoot, you want to talk? So here you are. You've got
Comparison
a
is the thief of
wife.
joy.
You've got a wife who's experiencing betrayal trauma. So she's already getting her world rocked from where it should be safe. So that sucks. Like, can have compassion for that all day long. And then do you know what she does in her off time when she's feeling dysregulated from the trauma she's experiencing?
Numbs out on social media.
Yeah, do you know what she sees on social media? A bunch of families that look perfect, women who don't actually look like that and aren't there.
And families that aren't that put together.
That families that aren't that put together. That like there is so much not real. That don't tell me it's not harming
Right.
and objectifying and adding to this plague of sexual addiction that we have.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I still think a lot of people would tell you I think at this point, like, I think you're not giving people enough credit. Like, even if they know they're looking at too much Netflix binging and looking at too much, reading the news, like, I think they would tell you, like, yeah, it's a problem for me. Like, I spend too much time on my phone. I spend too much time on social media. I think the majority of our listeners would say, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think you're wrong, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be like you're being a little rude, but that's probably true. On both counts, that I'm being a little rude, and I think that's probably true. But I think our listeners are a unique killer awesome demographic of people who are trying to make the change. And then I think
they're trying to navigate through this and figure out what is okay, what is not okay.
And I think the sad reality is that our listeners are a very small amount of the population. When you get not like that, like people who listen to our show, they do. But
listeners that need to listen to us, it's like
Here's the other thing.
massive.
While I'm being rude about all of this, I'm tired of hearing parents talk about how their kids need to stop doing it when they do it all the time.
When parents aren't doing
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I had noticed that too. Like when Easton would walk in, I would still be on my phone or whatever because I'm doing whatever it is, and I'm like, wait, I need to find ways to connect with him. And so I'm like, and when he walks in the room, my phone gets put away. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So that he knows that I see him, that he is more important to me than my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Well, so one of the ways I think you navigate, I think it's about the guidelines, and I think the big misnomer is it's like when we talk about boundaries, you don't set boundaries for other people that you wouldn't keep yourself. So I don't say, hey, Chris and James, I have a boundary around touch. If you're going to give me a hug, I need you to ask. And then I walk in the room and just hug you guys without asking. Right? Like that, like you have to. And I think that, to me, is the biggest mistake that's happening in navigating. Is one, it pretending it's not real, being like, oh, I don't know, I just figured it was fine, or which I agree with you. I think a lot of people are more aware than that, and a lot of social campaigns and a lot of things I think have helped name that.
Yeah,
we haven't really been participating in that. A ton of people have, and I'm like double thumbs up to all of them. But then I think it's the double standard. I want these guidelines for my children or for my partner, but not for myself. I think that's the mistake people make in navigating.
Yeah, they don't put boundaries on the social media or anything like that for themselves.
Right, that it's the same. That it's the same for me as it is for everyone else.
Well, and I've said this before, and I think it's, I talk to a lot of guys, and they're like, oh, I don't watch that show because it's a rated R show. And I'm like, you watch porn, right? Yeah, I like multiple times a week. And I'm like, okay. So tell me where is this right? Like, tell me where you're at with this,
I wasn't the rudest person on this episode for once.
So I don't know.
Chris takes the game.
He worked pretty hard at it, though.
I did work pretty hard, but Chris slides in at the end of the episode to steal it from me. A boundary that you need to put in place to better navigate.
A boundary I need to put in place to better navigate.
I already have mine because you say I never
have
go
mine
first.
too.
To navigate media.
Yes.
For me, a better boundary I need to put in place would be to turn on tracking for the time I'm reading the news, because when I don't have the game,
that's where you cheat.
Yeah, then it's like, if I kind of want to check out, then all of a sudden I can lose an hour reading the news. And that's sort of like, I should put a time thing on, like Chris was talking about, to just give myself that sense of awareness, rather than just letting myself get lost in the endless scroll.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can work to be present and own my choices.
Yep. Yeah. For me, I think it is, I need to stop taking my phone in the bathroom. Not because that's where I look at the porn is in the bathroom. That's not. It's because I'll stay on the gaming or the scrolling, and so I'm like, not every time I go. I know everyone has a dialogue like men take forever to go to the bathroom or go number 2, but I think the phone contributes to, maybe that's a TMI or whatever, but that phone in the
that's real.
That's real.
Right.
And then I find that is actually one of the places where I scroll the most or sit there and game or whatever. That would be a big shift for me in navigating.
I think for me, since I have a lot of things for my social media, like the timing restraints, I don't have a timing restraint for like Netflix or Amazon Prime or Prime movies and
the
stuff like
streaming
that.
stuff.
Yeah, streaming. So that would be something that I need to put boundaries on for myself and limit that, because it allows me to
what if
still
you
check
limit
out,
when
right?
you watch it alone, though?
Say what?
What if you limit it as when you watch it alone versus
watching it?
Yeah.
with-
Because if you're
with
watching a
your
movie with
spouse
your
or
whole family,
your
Friday
family.
night,
Right,
I'd be
yeah,
like,
totally.
only a half hour, and then
But
you're
like I
get that.
can play something like have it going all day.
oh yeah,
But it
yeah,
doesn't. What the thing is that it doesn't allow me to be able to connect with God as much as I can
yeah. Takes
because
away the
we
silence.
find God in.
Well, what was the
silence.
Eldridge book about pausing? That whole first one.
Well, yeah, the
Reclaim
book,
Your Life.
Reclaim Your Life. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. It's the one with the boat. On
Get
the
your
front.
life back.
Get your life back. Get your
Yeah.
life back,
Yeah.
Eldridge. That's a good
Love
one.
that.
So let us know what you think the boundaries should be in place as you navigate digital media, because obviously we need some help.
And
So
what boundaries
give
are
us
you
some
putting in
ideas.
place?
Or let us know what your lack of boundaries is taking from you right now.
Ooh,
We
would
like
love that.
that.
Too. Love that too. So give us a shout out, social media at Unashamed and Afraid. And definitely a frontier where you got to have courage, because it's real easy to isolate on that one because no one sees what you're doing on your phone. And so let us know what you think, what you have for us, good ideas, and what James said. And until we can meet again, continue to live
Unashamed.